Okay, so let's be real for a sec. Like, who actually has time to be on social media 24/7?
Right, it's this whole always-on pressure, but most of us have, lives.
Exactly. So that's kind of where this idea of scheduling posts comes in, right?
Yeah.
You actually sent us some really interesting sources about this, so we're going to kind of deep dive into those. It seems like the big takeaway is like working smarter, not harder.
Definitely.
And this is about way more than just like business stuff.
Oh, for sure.
We're talking Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter.
Yep.
Whether you're building a brand or just trying to like up your social media game in general.
Totally. It's about taking that pressure off and being strategic. So instead of, scrambling to post in real time, you can plan everything out.
Right, and reach people at the right time, even when you're busy doing other things.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm already liking where this is going.
Yeah.
So these sources you sent, they all kind of stress this point. Consistency is key, especially when you're trying to build a following or a brand. But help me understand this. Why is consistency so important for social media?
Well, it all comes down to those algorithms. They're like the gatekeepers,
Right.
deciding what people see and who sees it.
So we're trying to please the robots behind the scenes.
Not exactly. It's more about understanding how they work. They want to show people the stuff that's like the most relevant and engaging.
Okay.
And when you're posting consistently, it shows them, hey, this person's active. They're putting out good stuff that people want to see.
So like you're building a good reputation with the algorithm.
Exactly. And with that good rep comes rewards. The algorithm's more likely to show your stuff to a wider audience, which means more reach, more visibility.
So this consistency thing goes like deeper than I thought.
It does. It's not just about the algorithm either. When you post consistently, you're also building trust and familiarity with your audience. They start to recognize you. They know what to expect. And they even get into this habit of like checking for your posts.
Right. They anticipate it.
Yeah. Think about it from their perspective.
Yeah.
You're showing up regularly with good content, they're going to start looking forward to that.
It's like going to the gym, right?
Okay.
A few random visits aren't going to get you results, but if you're there week after week, you build momentum, create a habit, and eventually you see those changes.
Exactly. That's a great analogy. Consistency really is the foundation of a good social media strategy. You're telling the algorithm, hey, I'm reliable, you're building trust with your audience, and that sets you up for, long-term growth.
Okay, you've convinced me consistency is key.
Yeah.
So let's get into some actual strategy. The sources you sent break things down by platform, which I think is super helpful. So let's start with Facebook. What's the research say about like what kind of content works there and who we're even talking to these days on Facebook?
Yeah, so the source kind of paints Facebook as this like digital town square. It's got a pretty diverse audience, all ages, backgrounds. People are there to connect with family and friends, share updates, join groups, that kind of thing.
So it's like a mixed bag of content.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Personal updates, news articles, those funny memes, live videos, even event invites.
Oh, the event invites that we all ignore.
Yeah, exactly. But at its core, Facebook's all about community and conversation,
Right.
It's where people go to share their lives, engage with each other, feel connected. So when you're making content for Facebook, keep that community vibe in mind.
Okay, helpful. So what about the actual scheduling part? Like, is there a best time to post on Facebook, to actually get people to see your stuff?
Well, the source suggests that weekends and late afternoons tend to be when people are most engaged.
Okay, makes sense. It's like people are more relaxed. They have more time to scroll.
Exactly. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's Saturday afternoon. Your ideal Facebook user is like taking a break, catching up on everything they've missed, or maybe it's Sunday evening, they're winding down after the weekend.
Oh, totally. I've definitely noticed my own Facebook engagement goes up on Sunday evenings. Like everyone's getting back into their routines.
Exactly. It's about tapping into those natural rhythms of how people use social media.
Okay, so we've got Facebook figured out. Now let's move on to Instagram. You sent this source that basically says Instagram is like a visual playground.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for like the under 35 crowd.
It's all about aesthetics, high-quality pictures, those captivating videos, the stories that disappear after 24 hours.
Right.
People go there to be inspired, find new trends, show off their own style.
And it makes sense that like those industries, fashion, food, travel, fitness, they all do really well on Instagram.
Oh, absolutely. Visual storytelling is king there.
Right there.
But it's more than just pretty pictures,
Right.
People are curating their online identities. through what they share and who they follow. They're looking for brands and creators that match their aesthetic, their lifestyle.
So it's about the overall vibe, not just individual posts.
Exactly. It's about creating this cohesive visual identity that speaks to your audience. Now, for scheduling on Instagram, the source recommends using Instagram Insights.
Oh, okay.
It's this built-in tool that helps you figure out when your followers are most active.
So we can actually see when our audience is online.
Yeah. But generally speaking, early mornings and evenings during the week tend to perform well.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
People checking their phones before work or winding down after dinner.
Exactly. Picture your ideal client. They're sipping their morning coffee, scrolling through Instagram, or maybe they're relaxing on the couch after a long day. Those are your prime times.
All right, so the pattern here is understanding your audience and meeting them where they are.
Exactly. And speaking of meeting people where they are, let's move on to TikTok.
Ooh, okay. Bring on the dance challenges and those viral trends. But I gotta say, TikTok feels so different from Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, it is. Yes. From what you shared, this platform's all about those short, kitschy videos, lots of entertainment, trends. We're talking a younger audience, mainly Gen Z and millennials.
Right.
They want quick bursts of entertainment,
So it's all about creativity, authenticity, and keeping up with the dances.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
But it's also about, tapping into the culture of TikTok. Trends pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Humor's huge. Music, visual storytelling.
Right.
It's fast-paced, so you got to understand that rhythm.
Okay, so how do we crack the TikTok scheduling code? Is it all about catching those trends as they happen?
That's a big part of it. The source really emphasizes posting often, staying relevant, and jumping on trends. But timing-wise, afternoons and evenings seem to be the sweet spots.
Makes sense. Teens and young adults are out of school, done with work, ready for some content.
Exactly. You got to be present when your audience is most active. Okay, so we've covered Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Now let's switch gears to LinkedIn. That's a whole different world, right?
Yeah, it's like the serious, buttoned-up cousin in the social media family.
Yeah, I like that. The source you sent calls it the hub for professional networking and thought leadership.
So we're talking professionals, businesses, job seekers, anyone who wants to get ahead in their career.
Exactly. And the content reflects that. It's industry insights, thought-provoking articles, professional achievements, networking.
Okay, so when are all these busy professionals actually on LinkedIn? I gotta be honest, I feel like I'm only there when I'm updating my resume.
Well, good news is you don't have to be updating your resume to engage. The source recommends posting during the week, especially early mornings or lunch hours.
That makes sense. Catching people before their day gets crazy or during their break.
Exactly. It's when they're looking for industry news and inspiration.
You know what? I actually check LinkedIn during my commute sometimes. Good way to stay informed on the go.
There you go. You're already tapping into those LinkedIn rhythms. Okay, so we've tackled Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Now for our last platform deep dive, let's talk Twitter.
Ooh, bring on the tweets. Twitter always feels like the fast-paced news feed of the social media world.
It is. It is. Your source highlights Twitter as the platform for real-time updates, news, and conversations.
Right. News junkies, tech enthusiasts, thought leaders.
Yep, anyone who wants to be in the loop.
And the content's all about quick updates, breaking news, witty comments, lots of back and forth.
Exactly. Conversations happen fast. Engagement is key. Now, when it comes to scheduling on Twitter, the source suggests posting throughout the day.
Okay, so it's less about specific times and more about just maintaining a presence.
Yep. Twitter moves fast. You got to be part of the conversation as it's happening.
Okay, so now we know the why and the when for scheduling on these different platforms, but how do we actually do it?
Right.
There are so many tools out there.
I know it can feel overwhelming.
Just thinking about it stresses me out.
I hear you. But don't worry, we'll figure it out together. Your sources mentioned some popular ones: Meta Business Suite, Buffer, Later, Hootsuite, and Zoho Social. They all have their own strengths and, they're designed for different needs and budgets.
Okay, that's a lot to take in. I'm definitely ready to explore these tools and maybe, finally, master that viral TikTok dance.
We can definitely work on that. But first, let's demystify the world of social media scheduling tools.
All right, so let's dive into these tools. Seriously, I get a little overwhelmed just looking at all the options. Where do we even start?
Well, a good place to begin might be one you're already familiar with: Meta Business Suite.
Okay.
It's, Facebook's own tool, so it's a great option for beginners, or if you're mostly focused on Facebook and Instagram.
Right. So if those are your main platforms, it's a good starting point.
Exactly. It's free, easy to use, and you can schedule posts as stories, manage ads, track how everything's doing, all in one place.
Okay. So it's like your command center for Facebook and Instagram.
Exactly. Now, another popular option, especially for like small businesses or people managing a bunch of accounts, is Buffer.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of Buffer. What's the deal with that one?
It's known for being really simple and having a clean interface, so it's great if you just want like a streamlined scheduling experience.
So it's all about efficiency.
Totally. Yeah. And it supports a lot of platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, even Pinterest.
Okay. So you can basically create a schedule, write your posts ahead of time, and Buffer just takes care of posting them at the right time.
Yeah, pretty much. You mentioned TikTok earlier. That one's a little tricky.
Oh, right. Why is that?
So TikTok's API, it's basically how different apps talk to each other. It doesn't fully support automation yet.
Okay, hold on, back up a sec. API. What does that even mean?
Think of it like a messenger that carries information between different programs.
Uh-huh.
So for a scheduling tool to post directly to TikTok, it needs to use their API.
Right.
And because TikTok hasn't fully opened that up, tools like Buffer can't just automatically post for you.
Ah, got it. So Buffer can't directly post to TikTok yet, but...
But it can still help you stay on track. It'll send you reminders to post manually at the times you've scheduled.
Okay, so it's like a nudge to keep you on schedule even if it's not fully automated.
Exactly. Now, another tool you sent info about is Later, which seems to be popular with the visual folks.
Oh, yeah. I love a good visual planner. Makes things so much easier to see.
Later is all about that. They got this drag and drop interface where you can plan out your Instagram grid, schedule stories, preview how everything will look.
Okay, that sounds cool, especially for Instagram where visuals are so important.
Exactly. And it supports other platforms too: TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest. You can manage everything from one place.
So it's really for those who like to see things laid out visually.
Yeah, great for that. All right, so we've covered Meta Business Suite, which is good for Facebook and Instagram, Buffer, which is simple to use and good for multiple platforms, and Later for visual planning. What else is out there?
Well, if you're looking for something more robust, like a real all-in-one platform, there's Hootsuite.
Okay.
It's been around forever, and it's known for having tons of features.
So this is for the power users. Yeah, if you're serious about social media and need more than just basic scheduling, Hootsuite's a good option. You can manage a ton of accounts, schedule posts, track your results with detailed analytics, engage with your audience, even work with a team all in one place.
Wow, that's a lot, but I'm guessing all those features come with a price tag.
Yeah, you're right. It's not free. They have different plans depending on what you need and how many accounts you're managing. So you got to think about your budget and whether you really need all the bells and whistles.
That makes sense. It's like choosing a car. You decide if you need the basic model or the one with all the fancy extras.
Exactly. And speaking of finding the right fit, the last tool on our list is Zoho Social.
Okay.
This one's known for being budget-friendly, and it works really well with other Zoho products like their CRM.
Right.
So if you're already using Zoho for other things, it might be a good option.
Got it. So Zoho Social is for the budget-conscious folks and those who are already using Zoho's other stuff.
Exactly. It lets you schedule and publish content, monitor what people are saying about your brand, track your performance, and work with your team. Plus, if you're using their CRM, you can connect your social media to your sales and marketing.
Okay, so we've covered 5 different tools: Meta Business Suite, Buffer, Later, Hootsuite, and Zoho Social.
It's amazing how each one has its own, personality.
It really is. And the best part is, there's a tool out there for everyone. You just got to find the one that matches your budget, your comfort level with technology, the platforms you're using, and your overall social media goals.
Yeah, it's not one size fits all.
Definitely not. And remember, choosing a tool is just the first step. The real magic happens when you combine that with a deep understanding of your audience and a strategy for creating great content.
Okay, so all that stuff we talked about earlier, about knowing when your audience is online, creating content that resonates, that's where it all comes together.
Exactly. Scheduling frees up your time so you can focus on the bigger picture, engaging with your audience, building relationships, and making a real impact. So we've got our detective hats on, ready to figure out the best times to post. What kind of data should we be looking for in those analytics dashboards?
Well, think of it like a treasure map to your audience's online habits. Most platforms will show you things like what days and times your followers are most active, their demographics, what kind of content they engage with most.
Okay, so we can see when they're online, who they are, what they like, but how do we actually use that to refine our posting schedule?
It's all about connecting the dots.
Hmm.
Let's say your analytics show that a big chunk of your Instagram audience is on the West Coast, and they're mostly active weekdays between like 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. their time.
So they're winding down after work, checking their phones during their commute, making dinner.
Exactly. Knowing that, you might try scheduling your posts around, say, 4 p.m., 6 p.m. your time, so they hit those West Coast feeds when people are most likely scrolling.
Right, so it's like we're talking to them when they're actually listening.
Exactly. Yeah. But remember, data is a starting point, not the end-all be-all. You got to test different times, see how your engagement changes, make adjustments.
So it's a little trial and error. Use the data as a guide, but then pay attention to how people actually respond.
Exactly. Think of it as a conversation with your audience.
Yeah.
You put something out there, see how they react, and then you adjust.
Now that you mention it, are there ways to get more direct feedback from our audience about our posting schedule beyond just likes and comments?
Oh, for sure. You could be more proactive about it. You could try things like polls, Q&A sessions, or even just straight up ask your audience what times they prefer to see your stuff.
Right, so open up the conversation.
Exactly. Remember, social media is about building relationships. The more you know your audience, what they like when they're online, the better you can connect with them.
It strikes me that this whole deep dive has really been about intentionality. It's not just about randomly posting and hoping for the best. It's about having a purpose behind everything you share.
Totally. Being mindful of your message, your audience, the impact you want to make. And now, with these scheduling tools, we've got even more power to be intentional.
Right. It's exciting, but also a little daunting. I definitely feel more prepared to navigate this whole social media world now.
That's the spirit. Remember, things are always changing in social media. Embrace the learning process, experiment, have fun, and most importantly, be yourself.
Love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive into scheduling, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away?
Scheduling is a tool. It's there to help you. But it's not a replacement for creativity and strategy. Use it wisely, experiment, and always focus on building those genuine connections with your audience.
Well said. Thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us today. This has been a really fascinating deep dive.
My pleasure. I enjoyed it.
And to all our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has given you the knowledge and inspiration to really level up your social media game. Remember, you have the power to connect with people, inspire them, make a difference. So happy scheduling.